Hi, my name is Braden Wynn, and this is my reflection of Chapter 6 over John Rawls. So I'm just going to evaluate the original position argument and then the initiative argument and just kind of summarize that. So here for the original position argument, I have a few examples of things that would not be accepted by those behind the veil of ignorance. Utilitarianism, that would not be accepted because it leaves people subject to the whim of majority. So basically, if you don't agree with something, but the majority does, you just gotta suck it up because that's what's gonna happen. Is because the majority decided to do that. So that's not fair for those who did not agree with that. And feudalism, no, that would not be accepted. If you know what feudalism is, I doubt there's very many people. Never mind. That wouldn't be accepted because it lacks social mobility. So basically, either you're born royalty, you're born nobility. So that's like stewards and lords and ladies and stuff like that, or you're born a commoner or somewhere in between. And you can't move up anywhere in the social order. Libertarianism would not be accepted either because social mobility is possible, but is often not guaranteed and still very difficult. And so, yeah, that's that. And this is a long word, egalitarianism, I believe that's how it's pronounced. And no, this would not be accepted because everyone receives the same amount of money, same income, same wealth, despite their effort and how much work they do. Everyone receives the same amount. So that wouldn't be fair because people could do more or less work and still receive the same amount of money. What would be accepted to those behind the veil of ignorance would be the proper owning democracy, or POD for short. There are two principles to this. The first is the liberty principle, which allows people to pursue freedoms for a better life as long as they don't interfere with others. So everyone can get what they want. It's basically like the Constitution or Bill of Rights, kind of the freedom of speech, the freedom to carry firearms, but there's still limitations to those freedoms. And then the second principle, which is actually split into two lesser principles. First up is the equal opportunity principle, which prevents discrimination of anyone despite their education, race, gender, or anything of the sort. So all discrimination is gone. And the second sub-principle is the difference principle, which is basically economical differences are fine as long as they benefit the least well-off group. So it's basically difference is fine as long as the least well-off people are still getting more than what they would get in a strict egalitarianism situation. So there's differences, but it's okay as long as they're still making more than that, gaining more than that. And then finally, the initiative argument, which is the argument from moral arbitrary. This is a different thing. The argument from moral arbitrariness. Yes, that's what it is. And people would say success should be a function of choices and effort, not generic lottery or historical accident. So basically, it should success and social mobility should be based on how well you work and the choices you make and how much effort you put in and not hereditary things like where you're born, the family you're born into, how much money you're born into, and where you're born, like access to schools, and the people around you who might influence you, things like that. It shouldn't be based on that. And so here I have kind of like less than, greater than line. And from least to greatest, I have feudalism, libertarianism, meritocracy, and then POD, property owning democracy. And so I think that this is pretty accurate, because in the least, feudalism, there's no social mobility whatever, except in very, 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 very rare cases. It was extremely difficult, but very rare. And so that's not fair to a lot of people, because not very many people were rich when feudalism was most used, like medieval times when there's kings and queens and such. And then a bit higher than that is libertarianism, where social mobility is possible, but still very difficult. And so that's not fair to I explained this earlier, to those who aren't able to move up the social ladder. And then above that is meritocracy, which I personally agree with. It says it ensures that all have an equal opportunity to education and such, but success depends on effort. So everyone has the same opportunity to educate themselves, but success with that education depends on how much effort they put into it, how much effort they put in to like continuing to go on to college or get a job. And that way, like rich people, rich people don't like have a much greater opportunity than many other people and squander it. Everyone has the same opportunity. And so that's my reflection of chapter 6.